Hello, you are welcome to the Fixers Show. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fixers Show. My name is Deborah the Doce, aka the Fixer, and we are streaming live from the beautiful city of Accra, Ghana, where God lives. I want to welcome you all to the Fixer Show. My name is Deborah Dodoche. You're so welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of the Fixer Show. Today promises to be a very exciting episode. Please share the broadcast, invite as many people as you can to join this particular broadcast because I'll be talking about something very important, something that concerns all of us. Nobody is exempted from this particular one. So thank you so much. If you're joining me, please let me know where you're joining me from. Write it in the comment section where you're watching me from. If you're watching me live, I'm streaming from Accra, so it's hashtag Accra. If you're streaming from any part of the world, just type in the comment section where you're joining me from. If you're going to be watching me live, type hashtag live. And if you're going to be watching it as a replay, type hashtag replay. Thank you so much. I just want to say I'm grateful to everybody that is supporting the Fixer Show. You're supporting what we are doing here. You believe what we are doing here. You believe what we are doing here. And I want to say thank you so much. I'm going to be talking about abuse. Myself and my co-fixers will be discussing the issue of abuse in depthly because I remember when Let us have this discussion. I think it's about time, because most of the time we are always crying foul. We are always saying, "Oh, this somebody would die because of domestic violence." We shout, "Rest in peace." We curse out. We do all those things. But are we really, really, really doing our part? Are we really, really sounding? Are we really sounding the trumpet? Are we really sounding the trumpet? Are we really making people to actually know that things like this exist? I know some people say, "Oh, because it has not happened to me, I can't be bothered." But it doesn't need to happen to you. It may happen to your sister, it may happen to your brother, it may happen to someone close to you. So I think it's high time. It's high time we talk about it in depth. That's my point of view. And the Fixers show is just there to add or lend our voice to what is already happening. So, firstly, I'm going to attempt to define what domestic violence is, what domestic abuse is, spousal abuse, whatever name it is being called. I am going to do that so that we can understand from definition what it actually means. That we can now take it further from there. Basically, today, I don't think it's quite intense, and it's very rich. The content is very rich, and I don't think I'm going to do all of that today. I'm going to probably have to do this in 2 or 3 sessions, but hopefully, probably like 2 sessions. I'll do that in sessions. I'll do that in 2 sessions. So, domestic violence or domestic abuse, it says by definition, it says it's a pattern of behavior in any relationship that is used to gain or maintain power and control over an intimate partner. And as I was doing the research, I discovered that the word power and control coming up, kept coming up. Power and control. Domestic abuse borders on power and control, making the other partner subject to control, subject to dominance, subject to manipulation, and a whole lot of other things. It says it is an incident or pattern of incidents of controlling, coercive, threatening, degrading, and violent behavior, including sexual violence in the majority of cases by a partner or ex-partner, also a family or a carer. That's another definition. And when you look at it, it has something to do. It still talks about controlling and being coercive and threatening, talks about violent behavior. Another one says domestic abuse is not physical violence alone. It is any behavior the purpose of which is to gain power and control over a spouse. That word power and control comes in again, over a spouse, a partner, or an intimate family member. Another definition says it's a pattern of abusive behavior. A pattern of abusive behavior. A pattern of abusive behavior, which the person seeks to do what? To use it by one partner to gain control over another intimate partner. That is what domestic abuse is. One partner seeking to gain control and power and dominance over another partner. That is the whole idea. Dominance, power, control. It says domestic abuse occurs when one consistently aims to control their partner through physical, sexual, and And these are the different types of abuse that can happen to a person in a relationship. But today I am basically going to be handling the aspect of physical abuse. And physical abuse, I'm going to attempt to give a definition of what physical abuse is all about. And physical abuse is the visible form of domestic abuse, means it can be seen. Why? That black eye can be seen. That slap can be seen. That broken tooth can be seen. That ear can be seen. That cut lip can be seen. It's visible. Unlike verbal abuse and emotional abuse that is not seen and cannot easily be, like if you tell somebody that you're being abused, the first thing that comes to the person's mind is the person is beating you. So if the person is not beating you, it means you're not being abused. In this part of the world, verbal and emotional abuse are not even considered as forms of abuse that will warrant somebody to leave a marriage. So once you don't have a black eye, you don't have a swollen teeth, you don't have a broken tooth or a swollen nose or something that is physical, many people tend to think that you're not going through abuse. But that is another facet of abuse. Unlike physical, it has its own perks. It has it's the way it manifests itself in the life of people. I've seen people, I've discussed with people that have left their relationships because the men were verbally abusive. They kept talking them down. They kept making them look small. They kept making them lose the body, especially some men that can body shame. They will use their mouth and beat the women so low and so down. And these women could not take it anymore and they left. The same thing with women, talking down men, insulting the man, making light his efforts that he's putting in the relationship, and that has caused a lot of men to lose it because verbal abuse and emotional you will see that the person actually has scars and marks that can detect that the person is being physically abused. It says physical abuse happens when someone deliberately hurts your body. I mean, it's intentional. They inflict pain on your body deliberately. It says you are going through physical abuse. Another definition says when someone hurts or injures you on purpose, because most of the time it's not gender based, it's not race based. A man can be abusive, a woman can be abusive. So I'm not speaking on the platform of gender, whether it can either be a man or a woman abusing the spouse. So either way, both of us are trending all over social media with him and his girlfriend in Abidjan. They were fighting in the hotel. Everybody was talking. That's abuse, physical abuse. I don't know who is abusing who, but we saw both of them were fighting each other. I don't know because when you do that, you end up hurting yourself. Physical abuse. It says physical abuse is using physical force that injures you or puts you in danger. Every time somebody is going through physical abuse, the person's life is in danger. We can't stress this enough. Your life is in danger. When you tell people that their life is in danger, probably they don't understand the magnitude. We are here, we have been on social media, we have seen people lose their lives to physical abuse or permanent injuries. We have had women lose pregnancies because of physical abuse. We have had women lose their lives. We have had men lose their lives. Last time, I think I dealt with the issue of Courtney and Chris, the Nigerian businessman that was stabbed to death by the girlfriend in Los Angeles. Their 2-year-old marriage ended with a guy 6 feet under the ground. So when we talk about physical abuse, it is real. And most of the time, when we always ask the question, why do people stay in abusive relationship? Because I don't understand and you don't understand. But I'm going to go into that. But first, let me look at some of the physical abuse. When we talk about physical abuse, what does that include? It includes shaking. It includes choking. It includes pulling the hair. It includes biting. Includes burning. Includes slapping, kicking, any type of harm with a deadly weapon like a knife, gun, cutlass, stabbing. It can also include restraining you against your will. You can see that there are situations where a man will beat his wife and lock her up in the room, restrain her. There are times when you tie the person up, physical abuse. You lock the person in a space. You don't give the person access to go out. And all this attitude or these behaviors can lead to permanent injuries and sometimes death. We have been here when women have died. We have been here when men have died. So when we keep talking and shouting and screaming, people think that we don't know what we are saying. The statistics are growing every day. If you read the statistics in the COVID era, you will notice that a lot of people, a lot of men and women were involved in so much abuse because they were in the same space at the same time. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are joining, please share the broadcast. Invite people. Let us have this discussion. Let me share your thoughts in the comment section. Just share your thoughts. Let me know where you're watching me from. Share your thoughts. Because when I was going through this, I was doing this research, I discovered some very, very deep things. I mean, like very deep things. What is the percentage of men and women in abusive relationship? Of course, women have a higher percentage, or women are susceptible to abuse more than men. The research says 2 women per week on average are killed by a partner or former partner. Then it says 20 to 30 men are murdered each year. It is totally unacceptable. And these numbers are rising. And that's why through the Fixers Show, we are striving to change the narrative. That is why we are talking about it. That is why we are going all out to talk about the issue of abuse, so people get to understand that it is a problem. The last time we were screaming here, Osinachi, she passed on. We screamed and shouted. We screamed and shouted. We screamed. That's all we did. What can we do to save people in abusive relationships? What can we do to take them out of abusive relationships? That is what I'm interested in. Both man and woman. We are tired of people losing their lives to people. I am of the opinion that no man can take the life of another person. You don't have that right. You don't have that power to take the life of another person. I know what the Bible tells me. When God gave dominion to man, he didn't give dominion to man over man. He gave dominion to man over animals, over birds, over fishes, and things that creep upon the surface of the earth. So when somebody begins to dominate and control another person, there is a problem. We have a problem. But let's push this discussion a little further. He says, why do people physically abuse the ones they claim you love? How would you go in front of the altar and tell God And before many weaknesses, you tell the woman to love and to hold, to for better or for worse, to cherish you. This, you say all the nice things till death do us part. Then the woman will say, I will love you, I will respect you, I will submit to you, I will hold your hand, I will do this and this, I will be there for you in sickness and in health till death do us part. Then you go home and kill that man, and you go home and kill that woman. At what point? At what point do you tell somebody that you love the person and you kill the person? At what point can you tell somebody that you love the person and you hurt the person, you beat the person until she loses that baby, you beat the person until a black eye? There are women that are blind from abuse. There are women that have ears that are not hearing because of the slap an abusive partner gave to them. We can have a litany. A litany. They are there stringing, play end to end. We can say all these things, but I when I sit down, I'm a very deep thinker. I begin to ask myself. I say, God, why would somebody hurt a person they said they love? How is that even possible? I don't know if you normally sit and ask yourself that question. That why would somebody say that I love you and beat you? I love you and burn you with an iron. I love you and beat you with a cane. I love you and cut you with a knife. I love you and stab you. Then there is a problem. There is a problem. There is a problem somewhere. Something is happening somewhere. And let us look at some of the why they say, why do people physically abuse the ones they say they love? One, to intimidate and to cause fear. And I asked myself, why would you love me and want to intimidate me and cause me fear? If you tell me that, Deborah, I love you, why would you want to cause me fear or intimidate me? That's not love. Probably that is something else. I don't know about you, but love is a beautiful feeling. It's not fear. It's not intimidation. He says, why do people physically abuse their loved one? To have control and power over their partner. If you say you are in a relationship with somebody, why would you want to control the person? And why would you want to have power over the person? Why would you want to manipulate the person? Why do you want to coerce the person? Why do you want to beat the person down? You said you loved that person. Why would you want to control the person? That is something I don't understand. They say why people physically abuse people is because they lack empathy. Empathy just means entering into the shoes of another person, feeling what they are feeling. When people physically abuse people, they say they lack empathy. They don't care about other people's feelings. They don't have regard for other people. They don't care about how other people feel. That is why they can assault you and don't feel a thing. They can slap you black and blue and look at you in the face because they lack empathy. They don't care. But why would you choose to marry somebody you don't care about? Why would you choose to marry somebody you don't have empathy for? These are some of the questions I ask myself, because I will not say I'm married to my husband and I'll be abusing him, I'm insulting him, I'm putting him down. Why did I go into the marriage in the first place? Marriage is not by force. Marriage is by choice. You made the decision to get married to this person. Nobody forced you into the marriage. You had the opportunity to say that I will not marry this person. But you decided to go before the altar and call people to witness your marriage, and you turn around and begin to hurt that person. It says another reason why people abuse the people they love is because of lack of accountability. They say abused partners behave abusively to some extent because they can. They can. I've heard men tell their men, there's nothing you can do about it. I will abuse you and there is nothing you can do about it. they know that there is nobody that can hold them to it. There is nobody that can come and stand and face them and tell them to their face that why are you abusing this woman? Because people were asking that did Osinachi not have family members? Did Osinachi not have a sister? Did Osinachi not have a brother? Did Osinachi not have people that could stand for her? That was a question, because Nwachukwu, the husband, he could not, he knew that there was nobody that could stand for Osinachi. He had the audacity to insult and abuse her to the point of leading her to an early grave. They lack accountability. They don't care whose ox is God. They do it because they can. Another reason why they say people who they abuse the people they love physically is because of unaddressed trauma or unaddressed childhood trauma. Because there are some people who grow up in violence and are under the impression that that is normal, because that is how they grew in. He saw his mother abusing his wife, he saw his father abusing his mother. He saw his mother abusing the father. It became like a normal occurrence in their home. So abuse tolerated is abuse perpetrated. I want you to write that in the comment section. Abuse tolerated is abuse perpetrated. That boy, that woman that grew up in an abusive relationship saw abuse as a normal thing. Because that issue in their childhood was not addressed, they began to perpetrate it in their relationship. I remember I watched this in this skit about an Indian boy and an Indian girl, two small boys and girls, a boy and a girl, and the parents were having a meeting in the parlor. So this boy walks up into that meeting and says he's going to marry this little girl, and everybody started laughing and said, "You are too young, you can't marry this girl." He said, "No, he's going to marry her." So when the parents now wanted to shush him, like, "Oh, we are talking, go away," he said. Then one of the men insisted and said, "Give me a towel." One of the men insisted and said, "Okay, if you marry this woman, what are you going to be doing with her?" He said, "Okay, he will wake up in the morning and the woman will prepare breakfast for him. After the woman prepares breakfast for him, he is going to go to work. And when he comes back from work, he is going to beat the woman. Then the woman will prepare dinner for him." And the guy said that because the father was abusing the mother in the house, and the people that even came for that particular meeting didn't know that the man was abusing his wife. All of them, you needed to see their faces. They were so shocked. But when I saw that, it registered in my mind that this child has already developed a pattern. I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to eat my breakfast, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to beat my wife. He doesn't even know, because that is what the father does. And he has seen that as an acceptable behavior. So that is what he said. And it's sad, because when people grow up in houses that are wrought with violence, they don't understand that abuse is not normal to some people that did not grow in that kind of scenario or in that kind of life. To them, it's not normal. So when these childhood issues are not addressed, some people grow up like that. So when they are beating you and you are complaining, they are wondering why you are complaining, because their mother did not complain. Their father did not complain when he was being physically abused. So why are you complaining? Because to them, it's a normal thing, because that is how they grew up. He said another reason why people physically abuse who they love is immaturity. I will tie that with lack of proper emotional regulation. Some people they don't know how to handle their emotions. I tell people, marriage is not for the faint-hearted. Marriage is not for boys and girls. Marriage is for matured people. If you are not matured, you have no business getting married or being in a marital relationship. What is even worse is that there are people that are in boyfriend-girlfriend relationship and they are killing people, killing their boyfriend or their girlfriend, and you're already abusing the person. So what is going to happen? You get married to that person. That means you're going to kill that person. And we have seen, because the case of Chris and Courtney in America, they were in a relationship for 2 years. They were not even married, but he still stayed in the relationship and got killed in the process. He got killed in the process. Immaturity. Some people cannot handle their emotions. Yes, in marriages, there are times that tempers would flare. There are times that things are going to happen. But you, as the man, your intelligence, that's the word. Emotional intelligence. I remember that sometimes I'll be talking to my husband. I'll intentionally, in Cameroon, we say Jackery, we do all those things. I'll come on hard. He will just look at me, say, I know you are looking for problem. I won't follow you, I'll be doing this. Why? Maturity. There are some people that will just, like you're talking to me, slap. They start, no. Lack of maturity. The woman is a human being. You are a human being. You are bound to sleep here and there. But that does not warrant you at every slight opportunity for you to lay your hand on the man or on the woman. It talks about, and me too, I have this point very strong. I keep saying it. Some of this physical abuse is very spiritual. And a lot of people say, oh, mommy, you are being spiritual. Yes, I'm being spiritual because I have handled cases. My husband and I have handled cases where abuse or other issues are spiritually connected, because I believe so strong that there are some men or there are some women that have a very bright future. I mean, very, very bright future. And the devil will just manipulate one man or one woman into your life. And that person, that is the beginning of the person's nemesis. That is the beginning of the person's demise. Before you know, that person will just lose his life. And I tell people that I'm sure that even this Nwachuku in the life of Osinachi was surely planned or orchestrated by the enemy. This is a lady that is a voice. This is a lady that is a harbinger. This is a lady that heralds the presence of God. And just like that, her life was snuffed out. Sometimes the enemy can manipulate people into the lives of dead people with very great destinies. And they would just be abusing them left, right, center. And before you know, this lady will lose her life. So sometimes they are spiritually orchestrated. I can say that on authority. Okay, so now the question I usually ask when I talk to people, one-on-one sessions with people that have gone through abusive relationships, I ask them, how did this abuse start? Because that is what I'm interested in. I ask questions because I want to know whether when you were in courtship, did you detect any red flags that you ignored? Yes, there are people that in courtship, they overlook red flags. They see certain things that the man was doing, the woman was doing, but I don't know whether they'll say it's love. Like Nigerians will say, love be the shark them. So they overlook certain things that would potentially affect them in the long run. So assault often starts small. Maybe a shove during an argument. We just push you. You are arguing with a person, forcefully grab your hand. You are not married to the person. I'm talking about somebody you're not married to yet. That's how it starts. Small, small. Before you know, it's becoming rampant. Before you know, the thing escalates out of proportion. And I usually ask these ladies, when you were dating this man, some of them say, I did not see any sign of abuse. The lady will tell you that he was not like that. When we were in courtship, he never laid a finger on me. He never, he